And a great afternoon to you both here from the TV set at Inspire and Connect Asia. We're so happy to have the two of you here with us today. We have Julien RIBEYRE, Chief Digital Officer at Bpifrance. Good afternoon.
Thank you. Good afternoon too.
Thank you very much. And joining us also is Holly FANG, President of Singapore Fintech Association. Holly, it's great to have you join us.
Thanks for having me.
It's wonderful to have the two of you. So let's start maybe with the synergies between ecosystems, and we'll start with you, Holly. Under SFA's leadership, Singapore's fintech ecosystem has become a global reference now. So what makes this ecosystem so effective in fostering innovation and collaboration?
Thank you. First of all, thanks for the very kind question. I think Singapore is unique in the sense that collaboration for us is by design, it's not by chance. We have a very progressive, very forward-looking regulator in the MAS. And the MAS is very supportive of not just responsible innovation, but also elevating ecosystem collaboration. So this partnership, this tripartite relationship between the public sector, the private sector, and the ecosystem, which SFA is a very proud member of, is something very unique to us, and it really helps to build Singapore's reputation as a fintech nation. MAS support for platforms like the Singapore Fintech Festival, which just ended last week, a great success. It's a milestone year for us, as well as support for organizations like the SFA and our sister organization GFTN, which together really works together to bring a safe ecosystem where founders, innovators can come together to grow, to exchange, to learn, and more importantly, to scale innovation responsibly.
Okay, wonderful. And I'm glad that you brought up Singapore's Fintech Festival. And we know that Bpifrance has had a presence there at SFF for 6 years now. So Julien, what drives this long-term commitment? How do you see Bpifrance's role within this community?
Yeah, thank you for the question. Since the beginning, I think it's the inspiration of getting so much insights from ASEAN region and to see how much it's striking for us in Europe to see how it's easy, because we see it's easy to perform and scale some financial innovation with regulation, traditional banks and fintechs. And this is a part of inspiration that we want to connect and to understand, to bring back some insights for us also in the European ecosystem. It's the first point. Second point, we've got some great champions, so great fintechs in France, in Europe, that are totally ready to work with ASEAN markets. So it's also for us an opportunity to bring some best-in-class fintech on the market and try to make some business opportunity. And for example, we got some within fintech last week who won an award. We are really proud of that, and to open on the ASEAN market.
Yeah, so it sounds like a win-win opportunity for all. And I want to talk about technology, definitely a buzzword nowadays when it comes to business. So to you, Julien, from a development bank's perspective, how has technology transformed your approach to supporting entrepreneurs and SMEs? Yeah,
technology is, you can see on different sides. You can say, okay, it's a tool, it's a blockchain, it's crypto, it's platformization, it's AI. But before being a tool, it's a mindset, it's a culture. It's a culture by getting it, trying it, and scaling it, in fact. So technology at Bpifrance is a better matter of culture. If you come back 10 years earlier in Bpifrance, like all traditional bank, it's really process-centric, and technology, the use of technology, helped us to be product-centric, to be client-centric, and think about how we can provide the best user experience, the best client onboarding online, or we can just perform some loans really fast and really impactful, in fact, on the market, thanks to technology. So it's a lever, but before it's a culture that we had to implement in the bank.
All right, well, Holly, the same thing goes to you when it comes to technology. As president of SFA and a leader at Aspire as well, how do you see technology shaping the future of neobanks and digital financial services?
So I think with every wave of technological advances, we've seen that it really pushes and changes the way that financial services operate. In the past decade, we hear a lot about, say, cloud computing, APIs, and that's really helped fintechs, FIs, banks included, to break down silos, to work together, to scale, and to integrate. And that's laid the foundation for financial services in the last decade. We are now entering this new chapter, new technologies that Julien mentioned. At SFF, the key themes are tokenization, generative AI, quantum computing. And these are not just buzzwords, right? I mean, we see that, for example, in Gen AI, it is really changing the way we think about how people interact. And then when it comes to, say, tokenization, it is evolving and changing the way that assets and value move. Same for quantum computing. Eventually, it will challenge the limits of security and computation. And I think what that means actually and how that translates for us as an industry as a whole is the way that we think about value creation and financial inclusion. The good thing about all these technology is that it is not just helping us to optimize on existing solutions, existing processes, but to solve new solutions, more complex solutions. Things like access to credit, reducing friction to payments, and making our financial system smarter and more inclusive as a whole. And that's, at SFA's perspective, that's how we're seeing across the industry.
Okay, some great points and insights there. I know that we touched on this a little bit, but let's look ahead to the future now. What do you see as the next big opportunity for collaboration between Europe and Asia in the fintech and digital finance space? Holly, I'll start with you.
So I think we both have a lot to learn from each other. Whether it's Europe or Asia Pacific, we're all developing things like AI and trust-based networks. I know Europe is developing its digital finance strategy. Here, closer to home, we're also looking at things like ASEAN data connectivity, working on real-time payment linkages, both bilateral and multilateral. And I think the next wave of collaboration between the two regions will be how we look at all these frameworks working together. We always say that domestically Singapore is doing a really good job, but then the next wave is to how we can break that cross-border barriers to the movement of data, barriers to the movement of value with money. So things like having standards for trusted data sharing, harmonized compliance, frameworks for responsible AI development, and that's something that we're very keen to work with our counterparts in Europe on.
All right, well, Julien, anything to add there? The next big opportunity?
Yeah, I totally agree. So I won't repeat all the thing, but I think there is 3 points. Yes, on AI perspective. We are great in Europe to give a frame on a regulatory way, and sometimes then think the frame before think usage. And as in Asia, and especially in Singapore, the usage it goes very fast. We can learn from scalability on one way and on strong regulatory context on the other way, to make the best of the both world, in fact. So I think it's the first part. The second part is on sustainability. With regulation, another time in France, we've got many concerns about ESG criteria, and we've got many fintechs and many reflection on the way we can just automatize this, make some automation on this ESG criteria. And I think we can grab this and bring this to Asia to perform. I would dream of general ESG computation worldwide, and I think our cooperation can make it. And at last, I would think you were talking before of cross-border payments, especially on blockchain and on cryptos. I think we also have a great ecosystem in Europe, regulation, but scalability in Asia. So I would say better of the both world on this context also.
Yeah, I know the question was the next big opportunity, but there are so many opportunities to seize when it comes to collaboration between Europe and Asia. It was a pleasure speaking to the two of you today. That was Julien RIBEYRE, Chief Digital Officer at Bpifrance, as well as Holly Fang, President of Singapore Fintech Association. I hope you have a great time at the event today. Thank you so much for joining me on the TV set.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.